see, I mean, I've got guys that are buying safety equipment from me that are spending money on safety equipment because they're not going to the racetrack. So that's a positive from all this. But secondly, you've got fans that are stuck in the house, and when we open the gates to these racetracks, you're going to have race cars from everywhere coming. You're going to have fans because everybody is missing it. So I think it'll be a great thing for the sport as a whole. For when we do get back, it's just going to be a new energy. It's going to be like our first love all over again, you know?
Mike, I'd have to say I have to agree with him. I mean, honestly, let's be honest here. We race almost year-round. I announce races almost year-round and broadcast other sports. There is no off-season anymore. Boyd's has, the Cabin Fever event in January. Then they have the Valentine's race and the Shamrock race. Do we need to take a step back as promoters or PR people and maybe condense the racing schedule for people like Matt Henderson?
It's a double-edged sword. Sometimes I do think we are going a little too hard. I know I'm tired of freezing to death on Saturday nights. I'm ready for it to warm up.
All right.
But I want to point something out. Again, Matt would never, and he doesn't seek recognition, but he mentioned safety equipment.
Yes.
Matt's had some injuries in his career, and he's had some surgeries, and he had an incident at the Dome this year.
Yeah.
And Matt has been a huge advocate of safety equipment. A lot of these guys go out here, and it's expensive to race, and Matt will be the first to tell you. But a lot of guys, they go out, they get in a car, and they just throw some things together, and they hit the track. And they don't pay attention to the safety aspect of it.
Right.
Matt has really brought attention to drivers paying attention to safety equipment, and he, along with some of his sponsors, have been giving safety equipment away to drivers that's been nominated by other people, and he is at the forefront of carrying the flag for safety in our sport. And if people don't believe that, it's a shorter track, speeds are lower than NASCAR speeds, but the crashes are just as violent, if not more so in some circumstances. I seen it live a couple weeks ago at Boyd's. I saw a man, it's just God's grace he's still with us. Safety
look at the crazy crash we had at look at the crazy crash we had at North Georgia when we met on Friday night with Riley Hickman driving Duplessis' car and several others. Pearson Lee Williams and some other cars got caught up in a tangle. So, Matt, on this final subject about safety, what's your thoughts on it, bud? And thank you for what you do being an innovator of safety in motorsports.
I try to get people to take it more serious than we do. A lot of times when you get in a race car, I've raced in seats that were too big for me, and when you strap in, you just feel like nothing's going to go wrong. And it's in those instances when it does go wrong, your arrogance thinking you can't be hurt is what costs you the most. And
right.
I buy all the safety equipment that I know can help me, and I still don't have enough at times. And we're constantly learning about safety. It's always evolving. One thing we think keeps us safe, years later we find out the long-term effects has hurt us worse. I had an injury in December based on what we thought was the best thing going. Now we've learned differently, and I've adapted and got a new Butler-built seat with compression foam headrest, and it's always evolving. So you can buy the latest, greatest, and that don't last you 15 years. We gotta keep evolving, and seatbelts run out of date, helmets run out of date. Your fire suit, they're not fireproof for a lifetime.
Right.
That's just a constant thing that we have to keep evolving, and we have to get these drivers to take that serious. I know from a fact, strapping in, you're invincible.
Yeah.
You're going to drive in right up against the cushion, against the wall, and never lift, and nothing's going to go wrong. But there are moments, if we all do this long enough, that it's going to go wrong, and you've got to be prepared for those moments. So that's what I just try to get everybody to do, and when they're trying to get their stuff from me.
For sure, definitely. Well, listen, Matt, it has been a privilege to catch up with you. I hope to see you at some super late model races this year. Are you going to try to make some ultimate super late model shows? Are you going to try to make some Southeast or Heart of America races this year on the schedule?
I'm looking at all that. I'm really not concentrating on the schedule right now. I feel like that's going to change. With the way things are going, I feel like we're going to have so many rescheduled dates that I'm kind of waiting on the reset. So where everybody says, okay, now this is the final dates when we're racing, and then I'll know more about that. I love Matt. Kelly and the guys over there that I'm going to go to some of those races.
Hey, Matt, I got to throw this out here, buddy, before we let you go. Ronnie Johnson is next. We're seeing NASCAR do it. NASCAR is saying somehow, some way, we're going to make up this 36-race schedule. We're going to run midday shows. Do you think the promoters or series promoters of dirt track racing should consider possibly running midweek shows on the dirt to try to make up these races that they've missed?
It doesn't bother me and most of your guys that do this more as a living. It's not going to bother. But, your grassroots fans are the ones that come and pay the bills. So I don't feel like that's really a choice for us, because that guy's not going to get up and go to work at 7 a.m. if he's out driving home at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I don't feel like that's an option for us.
Gotcha.
But, I'm going to show up and race when they tell me there's a race. If it pays enough money, I'm there. I don't care.
But what if they ran what if they opened the gates up at like 6 o'clock? Started at 7:30, hot lap qualifying, heat races, what have you, and not run 7 or 10 damn divisions. Run 3 or 4 classes tops. Run late models, run your super touring event, run crates, run street stocks, run 4-cylinders, U-cars, and bam, go home. Do you think that could be something they could consider doing without trying to prolong a show, running all night long?
Absolutely. But while we're on that subject, I think that needs to be a Saturday night option too.
Oh, amen.
Let's not sit there for 7 hours. You know what I mean?
Amen.
Yes. We're working hard on that.
Yes, I agree. I agree, definitely. Matt, thank you so much for your time, buddy. Appreciate you being on Red Clay Life, and look forward to seeing you in a race sometime soon this year, buddy. And God bless you and be safe.
Matt,
great. Thank you, guys.
I tell you,
Matt Henderson.
You're a hell of a wheel man.
Yeah.
And a great friend, and thankful for her friendship, and a great ambassador for dirt track racing.
He had already hung up, but I think he knows that, Mike Guerin. I think he knows that, definitely. So, hey, Matt Henderson, awesome interview. So we're going a little bit into our interview coming up next. So this is what we're going to do. Right now, we're going to contact Ronnie Johnson in just a moment. Ronnie Johnson will be joining us, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because it's our first episode of Red Clay Life, Mike Guerin, and I'm the boss, and we don't really have a time clock, and I'll do it the hell I want. We're going to give 30 minutes with the legend, the Chattanooga Flash, Ronnie Johnson. You're not going to want to miss this. We'll probably go to about 8:15, 8:20 or so. 30 minutes with the Flash from Chattanooga, Tennessee, the legend, one of the members of the National Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame, and a damn good friend of Mike Guerin and myself. Ronnie Johnson is next on Red Clay Life. This is a part of CRN Podcast. We'll be right back.
Looking for a life insurance company that specializes in what you actually need? Protection. Call Danny today with Symmetry Financial. Danny is certified in all 50 states, which means Symmetry Financial is not limited and has over 30 companies to choose from. Symmetry Financial has proved time and time again that their options and pricing is just better than the rest. Give Danny a call today at 828-994-1681 to see how Symmetry Financial can make life simple. This is CRN, the Community Radio Network, the voice of the community, the voice of anything sports, and proud to be the voice of the Comets. Follow us at crnsports.org. Now let's get back to the broadcast coverage on CRN.
Some energy drinks want to scare you. Some even want to bully you around. And the others, they're just blowing smoke. Packed with vitamins B3, B5, B6, and B12, the new HiQ energy drink comes available in 4 exciting flavors. Skyberry Fusion, Apple, Coconut Fruit Punch, and Lemon Lime. Natural caffeine, no preservatives, no crash, no bull. HiQ energy drink. Wings are for birds.
Now back to live coverage on the CRN Sports Network.
If you want to talk about the history of drivers and their accomplishments, their accolades, their successes, and what they've done on this opening episode of CRN Podcast with Red Clay Life, it's only fitting to have this gentleman on. As I said during commercial break, I consider him a very good friend of somebody, not just as a racer, but as in a personal level. Somebody that is truly a gentleman to everybody. You can even tag him with Freddie Smith as a Southern gentleman. The Chattanooga Flash in the number 5, whatever car number he's in. Whether it's a street stock, a crate modified, a super late model, a 525, whatever it is, he always is a talent. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now on the program is the driver of the whatever car number it is. I think the last time I saw him, he was in the car number 5. The Chattanooga Flash from the National Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame. Ronnie Johnson, do I know how to give you an introduction speech?
Man, you put me on quite a pedestal there. I don't know if I'll ever reach the level of a Freddie Smith as far as being a fan favorite and you know, a true sportsman, but certainly means a lot to me to be mentioned in the same breath with him.
Well, welcome to Red Clay Life. Before we go any further, by the way, I got a surprise for everybody. We're going to go a half hour with the Chattanooga Flash, Ronnie Johnson. Ronnie, first off, buddy, it's so good to see that you're doing well. Amongst all the things that are going on in our world today with the coronavirus pandemic, when I saw you that Friday night at North Georgia, just being able to spend a few minutes with you, talking with you, what has been the driving force that keeps you racing after so long? And for the record, can you tell people how many years you've been in racing?
I'm 45 for sure, maybe even 46. I'm 64 years old, and I started doing this when I was 17. I grew up around it, watched my dad race. Everybody on my dad's side of the family was, you know, some kind of a car guy. You know, they had an uncle that drag raced. I had an uncle that, you know, raced on on the dirt tracks around here. My dad raced the dirt and asphalt short tracks around here, even ran some NASCAR stuff there in the late 50s, early 60s, won the first, they called it the World 600 then at Charlotte. So I've been around it forever. It's just natural for me to be a part of it, I guess. I was the kid in elementary school that the teacher would scold for making the race car noises. I mean, I always knew that I was going to race, and I've been around it forever, and I graduated high school in 1973 at the age of 17, and that's when I asked my parents if I could race, if they'd let me race. And of course now, if you started at 17, you'd be at least 3 or 4 years behind the curve, but I just love it. I mean, it's what I live for, and it's like right now we can't go out there and race, so we can talk about it until we can race. But I just love it. There's nowhere I'd rather be than a racetrack, but I struggle to be a spectator. If I don't have my car ready, or if we're not able to race or something, it's